listening to Kendrick Lamar to Pimp a Butterfly as a reason. You know, I said for about a handful of years after I first heard it, it's a great album, but I don't want to listen to it.
What?
Hi.
What's good,
first,
peoples?
first and foremost, hi. As you all can see, I'm not Dolo, but was almost Dolo this evening. Shout out to y'all. This is 2.5 LLCs podcast. My name is Dre here with Devin. And we're going to talk about a few things, whatever we feel like. But first, look at the tip of the day. Change in life comes in all facets. You just have to be prepared for them. And if you really want to do what you're trying to aspirate and be successful at, you have to train and be devoted and dedicated to being better every single day. Because if you don't, you won't. So that's the tip of the day.
That's facts. You gotta treat that shit like you gotta treat your daily like it's the training grounds, for the next step, whatever that may be. I feel like at least it's a good mindset to have. Listen to this guy.
So let me ask you something, man. What have you learned so far in your short engineering career?
Thus far, honestly, I've learned the type of people that come into a studio to record are definitely taking things a little bit more seriously than many of the other people I've known through my life that may just operate out of a bedroom. And even that, even though they may be serious, the amount of people who actually have a solid vision amongst those people who are coming to the studio is thin. I think I've gained a lot of confidence working here, actually, because being able to see other musicians in this space where the magic happens, it gives me a better idea of like what's out there. I think before I started here, I didn't have a good perspective on real world, things like being in a studio and networking with actual artists who put money into their craft, pay for videos, pay for actual production, pay for studio time, all of that. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. The amount of people who are like talented plus working fucking super hard day and night is just so small. So gain a lot of confidence for sure. A lot of knowledge in the mixing department, absolutely. Working alongside you and a key as well. Like I learned a lot of sauce. Like so good. Like a lot of things that have just clicked over the span of time that I've been here since. It hasn't even been a year yet. But that was crazy, man. Very grateful.
That's what's up. So what led you to being here?
Here, to be honest, I was living out in the country near Roxborough, North Carolina, and I think I had come to a revelation one day. I was like, I can do better than like how my life is going right now. But I wasn't putting in nearly enough effort. So I had to tell myself that if I was serious about what I wanted to do, then I would be dedicated enough to drive an hour to the city. So the first step was trying to find a studio that would take me in on not having any sort of school experience, which I was actually really scared about. And then just driving down here, it was like an hour and 15 minutes or so to either go where I worked or to get here to the studio. But AMI was really like the first place that hit me back with genuine like interest. I was like, ooh. So I had to, really try and make a good impression.
So I know I have my thoughts about marriage,
Mm.
but what made you want to get married so young?
Well, honestly, there were multiple reasons, but at the time that I got married, it was to essentially like start a new life, because the life that I was living prior to that was so dissatisfactory to me that it was dangerous to my mental health levels. So I had to change essentially what I did, this past year. I had to change my situation, and I was with my wife now for, it wasn't a very, very long amount of time like many other people who get married do. But in that year, there was a lot of vulnerability, I think, and realness. And then on top of that, there was also an agreement, like, we understand that there's a lot of work to be done. But we both saw marriage as like a way to grow with the other person, but also there were other benefits, of course. I don't think people need to get married. Like, if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, you don't have to get married to stay with them. But I will say that being married has helped me mature a lot, because it helped me consider the perspective of another person very, very closely. I think, like, with people who are just dating, it's like, it's not viewed in the same way. So, like, when we got married, there was just a lot of growth as well. And then through the years, it was but that's besides the initial point. So, yeah, that was really the main reason.
Reason I ask, because I'm not planning on getting married ever.
Yeah, that's
personally, because the values and thoughts about relationships and marriage nowadays, it's all been so twisted and messed up. It's all just seen, for the most part, as just a cash grab.
Mm.
And just
Mm-hmm.
a symbol of, oh, this is what we are. Then all of a sudden they end up getting a divorce, or they're unhappy for 20 years, and all of a sudden the kid turns 18 or even before then, somebody leaves because they're dissatisfied with their situation, and then it's just leaving for everybody to suffer all of a sudden. So
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I get that. I definitely don't think marriage is for everybody, and I also agree. I don't think marriage should really be a thing, because really it's just like a contract through the government to show that you and another person are like bound by law.
yeah,
And I mean, but if you consider this, like, through history, in even many cultures, marriage was not about love. Like, in Indian culture, it's not really about love, because they're matched by their parents, and they just have to make that shit work. And it's usually matched by the parents because the parents have a perspective like, oh, we know what's best for you, and it's just like a cultural thing. And then also, like, in all throughout history, marriage has been used for status. So I don't know. I guess I get what you're saying. Like, it's always been something that's kind of just a made up like system, essentially.
well, I will say this about the past meaning of marriage. At least it was a strong culture behind it for that to make sense and actually to work. Because it wasn't like most of those people was put together and it didn't work. Maybe people might have been unhappy at times and such, but it seems it actually worked for them. Even though they were chosen, because you see now people got choices to choose and they're not choosing the right people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I will say this: it was a big chance marrying young. That is something that I understand, and because of that reason, I've known people who have gotten married young and they can't take it. But something that's really important is, like, you and the person that you marry, if you do get married, you have to 1,000,000% agree that, for one, there are always going to be disagreements. There's always going to be a differing opinion, but you just have to find a way to, like, meet in the middle ground And then also learn how to communicate. That's like super important. If you can't communicate, then you're fucked. But yeah, very important.
I heard one quote on this that's kind of, I guess, stuck with me. I'll say, if you're able to sit in a room with your partner and y'all don't have to say anything to each other and y'all still enjoy y'all company, then that's a sign.
Yeah.
Not a sure thing, but a sign that y'all can live a long time together in a bond.
Oh, for sure. Something in marriage that a lot of people don't consider, I think, when they get married, is that things are going to get, old. When you're in a like long-term relationship with anybody, it's not just with marriage. Like if you're dating somebody, this will happen as well. But like people always say like, oh, you got to spice it up, which is relatively true. But I think it's just about growing with the other person and ensuring like, even though you have your own personal interests, like you just have to grow as a person in the same way with them. Like, you have to learn how to communicate with each other and like live in synchrony. But a lot of people our age, man, they don't give a fuck about marriage because.
Why should they?
I don't think there's a huge reason. Like in there is not a huge reason to be attracted to marriage, other than if you really like that ring on your finger and you really like, the official governmental, like status. But yeah, I guess like my opinion on it isn't like negative. No. But I understand people who don't want to get married. In the same way I understand there's people who don't want to have kids, Which a lot of older folks do not agree with that one.
Are you one of those who doesn't want to have kids one day?
I want one. I don't think I want a lot of kids, but I definitely want one child, just because at least one. And then if from there I'm like, yeah, I'll have another. But I definitely got to have at least one kid. Yeah. I was an only child for a long time, so I understand the shitty parts about being an only child. But I feel like if I had an only child, I would know what it was that I needed. But every kid is different too. I will say that.
Yeah. I plan on, with a white person anyway, trying to have at least a couple.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to put a cap on it, it'll be 4.
4? There was oh shit, yeah, that's cool. There was a point in time where I was wanting 4 to 5 kids, but then the more I thought about it and saw many examples of children and big families, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I can handle that, bro.
Yeah, the thing is, I would try to, if I can control it, which is possible, space them out. Not have, obviously, all 4 at one time.
Okay, wait. So you'll have kids, but you won't get married?
Yeah. You don't have to be married to have kids.
Yeah, that's true.
It's happened so much. But I understand why you said that, though, because it seems like you want to start a family, but you don't be married to a person. Yeah, because I don't want to be ruled by a contract to somebody. That's and if they're unhappy, they don't have to do all this extra stuff and go to court. They can just leave.
Yeah.
Or if I'm unhappy, I can say what I got to say and do what I have to do, and I can just leave.
That's fair. The contractual part is definitely a big thing, because it's like once you're bound by law, then you're locked in.
Because it's a business at that point.
Hell yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize that. The marriage is a business. Don't get it twisted.
That is fucking true. And like I said, like from way back in the day, I think in a lot of like Western culture, it really was to elevate your status or to like gain something, and if you're married and your name has a lot attached to it. Like for example, the Kardashians, like if somebody marries the Kardashians, like they're automatically going to be known. They're a power couple. Beyonce and Jay-Z. Yeah. I would definitely say they're a business.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes marriage is just situational. I'm like, oh, this seems cool. Yeah. Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Let's be beneficial to both of us. Let's have at it.
Honestly, I think there are so many marriages that are like that. Definitely. And that's why I think a lot of them end in divorce. Because when they reach that point where it's like, oh, shit gets real, and they're like, oh, I didn't know the person like this, or I didn't expect this, blah, blah, blah. then they're like, nah, I'm folding. I'm done. I can't believe this. This wasn't who I was with in the beginning.
Yeah, I believe that a lot of people may not understand how long it takes to get to know somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and they think they know them when they've only been around them for a certain amount of time. They only see certain sides. And before they live and move in with this person, they'll think, oh, I hang out with her or she hangs out with him and they went on a bunch of dates. They've been around for a long time. They slept over a few nights,
Mm-hmm.
but they haven't lived together yet. And then all
Yeah.
of a sudden they get married and like, oh, bruh, she or he changed on.
Yeah.
They didn't change. You just didn't get to know them enough.
Facts. And there's so many, a lot of real situations that you'll have to go through with your partner or whoever you're with, your long-term partner, that, you don't always get to see how they react in those situations. Like, could be like financial stuff, family stuff, whatever it may be. You just got to be prepared for anything. If you make that decision, my peoples, be ready for anything.
As they say, the ride or die is not always going to be there for you sometimes. Are they going to be there when it gets rough? Are they going to be there when it's great? Are they going to be there in in-between times when you might fall into a situation by just life stance? You fall in between the job and you got to stay home for a little bit. Is she going to be able to stick around?
Mm-hmm.
Or you having to get laid off and it's taking a while to find that next gig?
Mm-hmm.
Is she going to be okay? Is she going to still respect you?
Hell yeah. Yeah, you got to find a real one. Like, there are some situations. I think you got to get into some shit situations with your significant other to really find out who they are. Like
That's anybody though. That's not even just
true.
With a significant other. That's just with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all in the trenches,
hell yeah,
and they're able to show that they're with you, then that's a great sign that they're gonna be there with you. They're gonna be there for a while, hopefully anyway, regardless of how life happens.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just during that time period, you just have to realize that you only have this one shot with whoever in the situation. So just enjoy it and appreciate it, however long it's gonna last, and just move on.
Yeah.
Because when the time passes, it passes, and you get what you got at that situation, and you don't have to. Hopefully, you don't have to feel bad about it because you did everything you could to make it work however you wanted to work, and vice versa. Yeah. So it was a great experience, but it passed and it lasted for however long it lasted.
Hell yeah.
So hey.
Yeah, I think. Like I said, it's not for everybody. No, definitely not for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people also get married because they had kids together. That's a very common.
I think that's gonna make the girl stay with them or the guy stay with them. Nope.
Yeah.
Just prolonging the inevitable.
Shit,
Might make it worse.
Yeah, and because then there's a kid involved, and then it's like,
then the kid gotta suffer.
Yup.
Then the kid might be on the street. Then the kid might be in jail. Then the kid might be depressed, on drugs or whatever, because y'all wasn't in y'all right mind when y'all was making that creation happen.
Yeah.
And then the next generation after that ends up getting messed up because of the decision you made.
Bro, it's kind of wild because, like, I'm more scared of having kids than getting married because of that reason. Exactly. I don't want to fuck up a kid. Like, a child that, like, you are going to be the source of a lot of their trauma, at least, or a lot of the shit they go through. I'm assuming. Or, like, a kid, there's no way a kid does not have problems with something that their parents did growing up. I think that's just inevitable. I think, like, every person I've talked to has had problems with their parents.
I mean, you're not going to be happy with everything that somebody is saying or doing, even if you have been created by them. Mm-hmm. There's going to be certain things that they do. It's like, man, that's messed up. Man, why'd you do that? Why you couldn't do this for me? But at the end of the day, they're the grown-ups, you're the kid. You have to be who you are in that situation. Just deal with the consequences or just deal with the pros and cons of the situation. Just live it out.
Damn.
You'll get your time. It's not your time yet.
Yeah.
Until you're able to get out that situation, you have to do what you have to do to quote-unquote survive. Mm-hmm. If you're looking at it that way.
Fair. It's a tricky subject. I don't know, man. I think, well, as all things in life, I think shit just happens, the way it does.
Yeah.
Hard to control most of the time. 'Cause it's like, I mean, you always think back to the past, I'm sure, and probably think something along the lines of like, I would have done this differently. Or, if I only had done this, the situation would have been different. But like, what's the point of that, No point.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Whatever happens is what the fuck happened. There is no changing it. No changing it. So, you just gotta take it as it goes. Go with the flow type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say always go with the flow. I say try to have a plan and have a goal for what you're trying to do. If you're just going with the flow all the time, you're going to go nowhere.
Yeah, that's fair. Not in every situation. Don't go with the flow in every situation. True. I would agree with that. Because that's how you get beach bums. They're really going with the flow. Yo. It just happened. But, yeah. You definitely need drive. Fuck, dude. I think I didn't have really any drive at one point in my life. And that was, like, thinking back on it is kind of intimidating.
Yeah, I just technically kind of got out of my period. Even though I was still actively doing stuff, It was a quote-unquote a creative depression, I'll call it. Where it's just I didn't want to do certain things after a certain point, or I'll just only go this far, film stuff or record stuff, and not put it out.
Yeah, dude.
Because just trying to figure out how to live life during what has happened in these past few years, and trying to adjust to life outside of school and outside of that educational environment, quote unquote, and becoming, all right, how am I going to do this in my adult life where I don't have any rules, quote unquote? I don't have to abide by, oh, you got to get up by this time to go here and do this here, and then you have to turn this assignment in. You know, you have to, the goal now is to make money and make a better living off what you do every day.
No one telling you either, you know?
Yeah.
Like, as an adult, at least.
Right. You have to just figure it out, and hopefully you can find out within the time period before certain things might catch up with you, like loans. Yeah, parents might be wanting to kick you out if that's your situation. You just may get tired of living there with your parents, so now you have to figure out, all right, how much money do I need and to obtain every month so I can at least have my own place outside of here, so I can have a more constructive life and figure out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to act in my own environment.
Yeah. Growing up is hard. I mean, I think I might be biased, and of course we're around the same age, so I mean, I just feel like being a young adult. I don't want to say teenager necessarily. That part does suck, but like being a young adult into young adulthood is so fucking hard, because that's getting out of the house into like the rest of the fucking world, dude. It's frustrating. I mean, I know everybody else is in the same boat, so it's kind of like, oh yeah, boo-hoo. But it just sucks. You know? What can you do? But that is just being an adult.
Yeah, it's all about adaptation at the end of the day. How are you adapting to your current situation? How are you letting that situation shape you and form you to the person you're going to be now and in the future? Because without these important growing up years, turning yourself into a man or a woman, or however may have you, this is how it was going to happen. This is you now.
Yeah.
And you have to learn a lot that you might not have known about yourself beforehand.
Hell yeah. That's true. I mean, like, people in their 30s seem, I don't want to say, like, jolly happy, but, like, you know, most people in their 30s are already making money. They're pretty comfortable. They're set up.
Because they were practicing in their 20s.
Yeah.
They were practicing in their 20s, man.
And it's like, yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. Like, this period of time, this parentheses right here is kind of fucking hard.
Yeah, you're getting into your athletic prime, depends on who you are anyway, for the most part. But mentally, you're still learning a lot about what's going on around you. You may not be able to comprehend what you want to be able to comprehend at the times you want to comprehend it. You're not building, your instincts may not all the way be there. Your thought or connecting of certain things you're hearing or listening to may not already be there like you wanted to. You just have to oddly just wait.
Yeah.
Or if you want to speak it up, you could probably do a few things, like read more or learn more about certain things. But
It's all
it's
damn
gonna
work.
come back. It's gonna come back around
Mhm.
when it's time. It's kind of weird because I've been saying, man, I want to get back into doing graphic design, motion graphics, and doing more video stuff and live performance. In these past few weeks, I've literally been doing all of that because I've gotten another freelance gig,
Nice.
and it's starting to do live stuff. I haven't been on a live site yet, but just helping do stuff in the warehouse, move and count and arrange things around.
Hell yeah. That's
But
dope.
and I got a call from somebody that my dad knew that they want a new logo for their business, so I've been working on that as well
Nice.
and re-editing the video, and now probably getting into doing some more video work with clients around the studio or around the way that I know personally that are trying to work on stuff as well. So
It's looking up.
it's all coming back full circle, and now the money's starting to come in from it. So it's piece by piece, little by little,
Mm.
I'm starting to obtain kind of, what I've been building myself up towards. And
Yeah, that's good shit.
but as soon as you tap back into it, that's when it also starts to connect again. Now
Mhm.
I know how I need to learn. I need to keep doing it and be active, like I've been saying for the however long. Just keep doing it and be active. And the more you do it, the more ideas you come up with, the more you might work with people. I might even start to work with somebody on social media off of the graphic design thing.
Oh,
So yeah, it's interesting. All the skills you build aren't for no reason once you have them.
You always have. I think the downs are necessary to get to that up. Otherwise, like, it wouldn't move. There wouldn't be an up. Yeah, so I would say after those creative depressions or those times where you're just like not doing what you feel like you need to, but you can't even bring yourself to do it. Like, once you get up, it's a good ass feeling. Feel like you're on top of the fucking world, man. I get that shit.
When you're starting out as an entrepreneur, make a lot of money.
Man, easier said than done.
For sure, but
Yeah.
reason I'm saying that because in the forms I needed for my taxes, NECs, 1099 NECs, it costs the same amount of money for me to file as somebody that makes 10 times more than me.
Damn.
So, moral of the story is make bread so you don't have to pay anybody back.
Yo, that's crazy. They really do set it up that way.
However, though, if they are paying you back, that means you're just getting paid by yourself because they quote unquote stole too much money from you. So
That's true. Paying on taxes, like that doesn't even make sense to me, dude. I looked that up the other day actually because I had that exact thought. Apparently, it's like if they fuck up, then you have to pay. Like, what the hell?
yeah,
How do I know if that's happening? Like, that's fucked up. That's one of the worst things I think that the IRS does. It's like if they fuck up, that's on you.
right.
Like, what the hell? Hey, it's crazy though. Like, the more income you make, technically you're paying less in taxes the more you make, right?
Yeah,
In a sense.
it all depends on how you're spending it too, though. If you're spending it on non-profits and you're buying a lot of gear and such and buying stuff towards the business that you're using, losses and gains kind of level out to a certain point.
Is that like a
You should be
write-off?
fine. Yeah, write-offs. Yep.
So, like, for example, for a music studio, right? If you start a business and you're like, I want to start a music studio here in this city, and then you buy all of this stuff in here, and then at the end of the year, you write it off and you get the money back? Or, because, like, I've always kind of been kind of confused on the concept of write-offs. It's like, I know that it's a business expense, but what is the purpose of writing it down or writing it off.
Yeah, just to keep records of what you do to fund your business. For at least from my understanding, I'm not an expert on this at all.
Right. Okay.
Just you're getting this is what you do for your business to run.
Okay.
It's not being bought for no reason. It's being used for a purpose.
Got you.
So let's say we need some new microphones or something. They get bought. That's getting write off as expenses on taxes.
Got you.
Because they're using it for the business.
Got you.
Using this to bring in income for the business.
I see.
So,
So it has to specifically, be for the business.
for the most part, yeah. It's kind of certain things you could do to make things seem like they are.
Yeah.
if it seems sketchy or it may not be, but it is.
There's workarounds, people.
Like gas.
Oh, yeah, I feel like that's a good one. You can do
Get
that
to
shit.
from work.
Oh, hell yeah, that's true. Eating.
Eating.
You eat 'em.
Hunger, feeding.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the team out for lunch or something. On vacations. Can write it off. It's just something like that. So that vacation thing, though, take it with a grain of salt. Because I haven't looked that up, but...
Yeah, I get what you're saying, though. I mean, it is crazy how much businesses can benefit. I understand why so many people in America want to start a business or just establish even that in general, because it can benefit you so much.
But not everybody can, though.
Not everybody can
And
start a business?
Yeah, anybody can start a business, but you know what I mean. Mentally,
Yeah.
they're not made that way. And not a lot of people, and certain people shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because certain people aren't wired in a way of, man, I had to think of where all this is going, how did you put this over here, move this, film this, edit this, account for this. People don't want to think that hard.
Yeah.
Some people just don't want to think that hard or think that much. People in the big offices don't get paid to do the most work. They get paid to think the most.
Yeah.
The more you think, the more you get paid. It's that simple.
Big money moves. It is cool learning about like real life, shit like this that can actually benefit you. It's almost like reading the manual for a game. It tells you all the secrets and shit. You're like, oh, this makes way more sense.
Right.
I didn't realize growing up, I was never really told the true importance of like money and like understanding all of that, like economy and stuff. Like obviously it was like, yeah, you need to save money. You need to be smart with your money. You don't overspend, blah, blah. But I mean like pushing like good credit, like how crucial that is to get anything that you want in life, house, car, whatever the fuck it may be. If you have good credit, you can get whatever the fuck you want. But obviously you have to have the money to pay for your shit.
I believe most people just don't know. Mm-hmm. And the school by design isn't designed to teach you, because the school isn't designed to make you a boss, just make you a worker.
Hell yeah.
So they're not going to teach you things that's going to make you not be in their workforce. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's bad business. It's bad training.
America is a fucking business, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, corporation, all that. But why would I teach my potential, what's the word I'm looking for here? My potential prospects.
Yeah, or like employees and shit.
How to not be on my staff.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Essentially, you want to be the person up top. Like, strive to be in that position.
Yeah, I want to train my up-and-comers to be where I want to put them.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Yeah. That's why you have a team.
Yeah, that's why you have your people below you, your teachers, your colleges, your other organizations that help you put that plan together. So you have most of the people around that don't know how to do their taxes. Mm-hmm. They work for you for the rest of their life. They don't think about starting their own business. They don't think about how not to pay their own taxes, or they don't think about how to pay the least amount or living tax free. Mm-hmm. They don't know that because it's not designed to teach people how to live like that.
Shit.
Which by business is great, but by people trying to get out of that and break through, that's terrible. Mm-hmm. But as a business, That's the motto. That's what it is. So us as people just have to use what we're put into and put in front of to pimp it how we want to pimp it. Shout out to Zoe and do what we want to do and what we strive and are better at doing than what we were supposed to technically do by the standards of the system that we're put in. Do what we're destined to do, not do what we're made to do.
Yeah.
I said that kind of wrong, but
I get what you're saying, though. I think, but that takes a lot of soul searching. It takes a lot of soul searching. A lot of people are content just, working as a manager at Hardee's.
Some people just don't get the chance to do it either.
Yeah, fair. That is true.
At birth, some people are literally born with a bad hand.
Yep. And that is, you definitely cannot deny that. Because, there's definitely people that I know personally, even that, like, they just can't get a leg up. And it's not that they're not hard workers either. They're actually some of, like, the hardest fucking workers that I know. But it's just like, damn, bro, I'm sorry. Like, that's just where you are right now, you know?
Yeah, working hard is cool, but working smart is better.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, only working hard can make you look like Russell Westbrook, but he's not a smart player, so he is where he is right now.
Yeah, I remember you guys were talking about him the last time.
Yeah.
Last week.
But to switch it over to music, I guess, that's why certain artists only talk about the same things over and over because that's all they know.
Yeah.
And that's not technically a bad thing. It just gets repetitive to some people after a while.
Mm-hmm.
So people start listening or their audience grows up. Yeah. And now they want to hear something else. They want to hear, hey, what have you been up to? Rich guy, wealthy guy, wealthy girl. You shaking your ass still? Why? You still spending all this money at strip club for what? 30. I was listening to you since I was 18. I'm 30. I'm not trying to throw money, or in women's case, I'm not trying to shake my ass all day. My goals are set on other things. Starting a family, or trying to do better with my life. But sadly, some people only able to talk about throwing money, getting the same, mess with the same women, and shaking their ass all day. Now, obviously, there's other people, other artists who don't talk about that and evolve. But
J. Cole's a big one.
Yeah.
I think I feel like he purposefully tries to avert his subject matter from that kind of stuff.
I mean, yeah, but at the same token, people say he's boring, though.
Yeah, fair.
So it's a catch-22. Do you want to be seen as a conscious rapper, or so ignorant, or in the middle where nobody cares about you?
I swear.
Or are you going to be the one that knows how to combine all of that into somebody that the audience can stick with, and like, oh, all right, I can get this and this and this from this group or this person that I'm listening to music-wise, and I can come away with some music that I can vibe with on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
But it also is about your story too. What's your story? How did you get into it? What are you doing? How you do? What's the goal of you as an artist, and how did you get here, and where do you want to take it?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more than just music. Music is a very small part, is what A.B. Steph said earlier. Music is a very small part of the equation as an artist.
That's so true, man. It's a sliver.
What else are you bringing to the table? What else are you offering besides just the sounds?
Yeah, because everybody can, have. I think a lot of people can at least make themselves sound good to the standard of what everybody else likes, but it is hard to have everything. That's why I respect artists, man. I respect a lot of artists that are out there doing their thing. Like, when you really think about it at the end of the day, even though you may disagree with what their music sounds like or what their image is, they're still fucking getting it. They're still working their fucking asses off. Unless they're like a nepotistic sort of situation where they're, in the music industry because somebody they are related to is big or whatever.
Yeah, but some of them can still have good music in it, and it still might not do well because they don't connect to the audience, like Coil Ray. I actually listened to her album. It's not that bad, but people aren't. She basically is just the people either think she's a planner. They just hating on her.
Yeah.
Some people hate now. Some people just don't believe or stick to what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good example for an artist. I was kind of thinking also of like Jaden Smith and Willow Smith, because I'm not a huge fan of Jaden Smith's music, but I think Willow Smith has great music. Like for her lane, I think she makes good music. But they're both like nepotistic babies, obviously related to Will Smith, blah blah blah. So it's kind of like, well, they got the chance to be in that shit like from the get go.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much are they really working on that craft? Or are they just kind of like, yeah, I can make. Like, to me, Jaden Smith seems like the type of person that's like, he just had a shit ton of resources, for one. And he was like relatively talented. Because like a lot of the stuff that I've listened to from Jaden Smith is just not mind blowing. And it's just like you said, I can't fucking relate to it. Like, I don't. The person it's coming from, even though the music may sound good, he can make it sound good. It's just like, bro, you grew up as a millionaire. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about right now? I can't relate to shit that he's talking about.
Yeah. And that can be the same to say about some white rappers, or maybe white rappers in general.
Yeah.
It's all right. You're not Eminem. You're not. Who else?
Fucking Logic. I mean.
You're not early Logic.
True.
You're not Mac Miller.
Mac Miller's a go.
What do? You're just going to be the rapper that just makes cool party music? All right, whatever. It's basically like the Jack Harlow situation, man.
Yeah.
Jack Harlow, I understand why he has popularity.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't mess with his music like that.
Yeah, I would say the same. Like, it's something that I could put on in the background and be like, yeah, this is cool. But like, his music isn't the type of music you sit down and are like, yeah, man, this man is fucking, he's saying some real shit. I think he has some good bars though. Like, he's clever. I think he's funny. Obviously, like, his personality, I think he's so popular because so many people like his personality. That's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
That image.
And his music is listenable.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's what like the masses want to listen to, not people who make music necessarily. I mean, it's good shit, made well. But for people who don't make music, they're more drawn to shit that, as music makers, is like, bro, this is like basic as fuck. Or like, this is about just a very basic subject.
Well, you're not looking for music makers to buy your music anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So they can care rats about what we say.
Mm-hmm. That's also. I was just gonna say. I also think that's maybe why, the opinions of like other artists like about your music is, you can either take it in like, if it's criticism, you can either be like, oh, you're just hating on me because you're another artist, or if the artist like can tell you how to improve your art in like a constructive way, then like that's a very positive thing. But I mean, otherwise, most of the time it's just like the other artists are gonna be hating on your shit because they're an artist, like, which I think is some weird shit.
Yeah,
that's some weirdo shit.
Yeah, but if you're making music for just artists, then you should just stop making music. Mm-hmm. They're not gonna listen to it.
Yep.
You gotta make music. I'm not saying you can make music for whatever you want. Well, as far as trying to get sold, you gotta let people know you exist, whatever way you think is possible. If you're a conscious rapper, I wouldn't suggest you promote where all the trap rappers are at, because that's stupid. Mm-hmm. Don't go to the club and try to promote your music at work, 'cause that's dumb.
Yeah.
Go to some poetry jams or spoken word shops where people might want to hear that a little more.
Go to smoke shops, probably tobacco shops. Yeah. Those types of people probably listen to that kind of thing. Yeah. Know your audience for sure.
Oh, yeah. What I'll say is, listening to music as I got older is very interesting, because now I'm starting to listen to music. Starting to be able to digest and dissect music. So lately I've been listening to these two albums just to understand what they're talking about a little more. Jay-Z's 444 and Kendrick Lamar's The Pimp A Butterfly. Nas' Illmatic. And that's pretty much it. Because I've been trying to understand why people hold these albums in such high regard. The Jay-Z one I just want to re-listen to for my own personal reasons. I want just to understand, all right, why do I like this Jay-Z album the most?
Bro, I think it's the grown man wisdom that does not come across corny like J. Cole's does sometimes. Like Jay-Z, like, dude, when that album clicked for me, when I was listening to it, like, this man was spitting facts. Of course, and he even points this out about, like, financial advice, like, how he has built his wealth. Obviously, it's not, like, detailed shit, but he's rapping about it. And, like, he's rapping about his failures as, like, a husband, as a father. Like, that's very reflective. And that's, like, it's dope that a hip-hop legend like that, who rapped a lot about coming up in the streets and selling drugs, can reflect on a life that many other people can relate to, you know?
Yeah. And that's the growth thing I was talking about. Growing with your audience. It may took a while from some people's perspective in their eyes about Jay-Z, but it got there. But at the same time, I always say this about people that have that type of influence in their communities, or if they choose a community or whatever. You were a part of that destruction as well. We all are a part of it in talking about it. And in one, in a good or a bad way, we're a part of the destruction. Either promoting it and talking about it, doing it, and saying it in a way to prevent others from being involved in it or outside of it. We're all part of the progression and destruction of what's going on in life, whether we're reporting on it, doing it, or et cetera, et cetera. Even though you may want to refute your points, you still were a part of it. You still had a hand in it. So even though you're trying to fix your sins, as you would call them, you still made them, and you got to live with those when the time comes. We all have to live with what we all have done. It may not be to the level of doing stuff like that, but to the point of we all have things that we have to account for when that judgment day comes. So.
Thanks.
And listening to Kendrick Lamar to Pimp a Butterfly as a recent, you know, I said for about a handful of years after I first heard it, it's a great album, but I don't want to listen to it.
What? Really?
Again anyway. Because it's not an album you just put on.
Yeah.
You don't just put that album on for what?
Hell no.
You're not just going when you're sitting around the house putting it on. You're not gonna put it on at the cookout. I don't do cookouts. I don't go to cookouts anyway, but still. You're not gonna put it on when you're at a party. You're not gonna put it on when you clean the house. You're not gonna just put it on when you're randomly sitting by yourself. You put that on at a certain time, certain place.
That's definitely, I think, an album you have to sit and really listen to. Because, like, the amount of thought that's put into that shit, like, that's not something you can just be like, yeah, I'm going to just throw this on. You know? Like, I think also the vibe of it is, it's not, like, consistently, like, upbeat and, like, super funky. Like, there's some funky songs, but then there's, like, For Free, which is just, like, this insane spoken word, jazz, fucking crazy shit. It's just like, you know, that's not a vibe.
Right, for sure.
It's kind of funny, but you know. And then I don't know. There are some chill songs like Mama. You know, that Knowledge beat's crazy.
Yeah, I rapped over that beat too. Yeah,
it is. It's so good. But yeah, I would agree with that. You definitely can't just put that shit on. Illmatic though, I think the album is 10 tracks is perfect. The fact that the half point song is literally called Halftime, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's an album that is pretty easy to listen to. Thanks to the boom bap.
The eliteness of Nas's rhymes so young is crazy.
How old is he? 18, right?
I don't remember. Probably.
I think 18 or 19. I get. I'm pretty sure, but Yeah, insane, dude. The amount of introspection that can come from a 19-year-old. It's like obviously everything that we've talked about, to have that amount of vision, that type of drive to like put shit out, to put a whole album together, and then to do it that fucking good, bro. Like when you're like 18 or 19. Joey Badass kind of did something similar.
Yeah, but it wasn't to that effect for sure. I get you. Yeah. But going back to Pimp A Butterfly, and actually I'll go back to Illmatic right quick. He painted a picture, an environment of New York City with that album.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what Illmatic is from his perspective.
Yeah.
His New York from his perspective. That's New York.
Yep.
And his experience and how he lived in New York. That's what Illmatic is pretty much. Now let's go to Pimp A Butterfly. From what I've gathered in the re-listening phase, it's the good and bads of making it. And learning what comes with making it. And dealing with the guilt. Your friends that may want to rob the new people you're around because they got more money than they have.
Yeah.
The evils that's coming to you when you're on your upswing and when you're getting established.
Yeah, that's a smart. God, I everything that you're saying like are things that I went through a phase where I listened to Pimp A Butterfly like religiously because I was just so impressed with how deep it was. Like all those things that you just listed off, it's just like, yeah, he does it so fucking well. Oh, God.
Yeah.
You even talking about it gets me hyped. Like makes me want to re-listen to it. Damn, it's a good ass album.
And it's from his perspective, but at the same time, you can tell that it relates to how a lot of artists in the industry have that mindset of, I don't want to be here. I hate that I even got here, even though they always wanted to get there because of what comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't know if you want it. Do you really want to be successful, artist or whoever was listening to this? Do you really want it? Do you want what's going to come with that? Do you want the people that's going to backstab you? Do you want all the money that you can't go outside or walk to the store? Do you want all the money where your friends you going up with, they still cool with you, but they want to rob your friends or your associates or possible business partners because they got cool chains on, they got cool cars? Do you want all that pressure of having to put out successful work every time you drop something? Music isn't just fun for you anymore. You got to take 5, 2 or 3 year breaks. You got to meet a quota. You have to pay back a loan that your label gave you, even though the event seems so crazy. Are you afraid to spend money because you don't want to go in more debt with that label? You know, do you really want it? What are you willing to give up to get to that level? Do you really want it? And I think that's why some people may not work as hard as they really want to work to get what they really want because of that. Mm-hmm. I don't think they really want to deal with all that, and I don't blame them. I understand. But that's why you're not the same as some of the people that's there. That's why they made it, and some other people that's just as talented didn't, because they didn't want all that. They wasn't willing to give up or sacrifice what was needed to get to that level. Mm-hmm. To what effect and what was sacrificed, I don't know. But that's what you gotta have to do in order to get and stay there. They stayed there because they was able to keep delivering, and they had the mindset and mind state of, I'm going to keep doing this. As he said on the album, he got depressed after the first one because you can talk and save all these people except your own family. That's crazy when you think about it. But as I've said before, you can't save everybody, so you have to just eat that. And I understand how that can make some people depressed. But you have to live your life and move on because you're not going to be able to save anybody. The goal is to save yourself.
Yep. Then
help wherever else you can after the fact.
Yep. Yeah, that man speaking facts. Y'all need to listen to that shit. For real. Run that back.
That's and true. Going to checks such as how much a dollar costs, making up the fictional situation of you losing your spot in heaven because you don't want to give up your change that isn't worth anything anyway. Because you're greedy. You want to keep all that you've earned because you've done what you need to do to earn it. But in order for you to go farther in your future, you're not willing to give that up you gave up the rest of your life. That sucks.
That's some deep ass shit though.
And there's probably another layer even under that. But just re-listening to it, that's what I've came up to with tracks like that.
Mm-hmm.
Going up to Mortal Man, when it hits the fan, are you still a fan? I don't believe it being a fan of anybody, but the people who describe it being a fan of somebody. When your artist does something they don't like, are you gonna still say that's your favorite artist? That's why you shouldn't be a fan in the first place. I don't know if that's the meaning of that track, but that's just my personal thing about the fan. However, when they do something you don't like, are you still gonna say you like their music? I admit I've said certain things that certain artists are doing. Like, I'm not messing with their stuff no more because I don't align with it. That's just not something I do. I may go back every now and again and listen to them, but not as much. It don't feel the same because of what happened. But that doesn't mean they're not great.
That's true. I mean, I've definitely stopped listening to artists because of like the stuff that they do. I don't know. You gotta separate the artist from the art.
Especially for sure, because I came with the revelation. I call Pimp A Butterfly a piece of art. Mm-hmm. There's certain music that obviously other people have said this, but it is a piece of art. It's not just songs. It's not just an album. It's a piece of art. Mm-hmm. It's way more than an album because of the way it was structured, the way it was created, what went into it. You can tell, listen to certain albums like that, it wasn't, I'm going to freestyle and we're just going to record. Nah, that's not the type of album. It's not those. That's not those type of songs.
Yeah. No, that shit was definitely. I would be willing to bet that each song probably took like a week's worth of thinking, like all together, like to each track, a week's worth of thinking about each track, if that makes sense.
Yeah, know? For sure. That's probably the first album I'm gonna get on vinyl when I start buying vinyl.
That's a good choice. Good Kid, Mad City.
I don't like listening to that album. I don't. That's my least favorite album to listen to from him. I'm not saying it's not great.
That's crazy.
I just don't like listening to it.
Not to be biased, because of course, like I would say that was probably his most popular album. I mean, like, okay.
Damn.
Okay, yeah, true.
Damn.
Okay, his breakout album, so that's what got him the most fans. I will say that. Maybe that, I don't want to be biased or be like, I hopped on Kendrick Lamar when he dropped Good Kid, Mad City, because shout out to one of my boys who's actually showing me Section 80 not right before. It was some time before he actually dropped Good Kid, Mad City, and I wasn't as huge of a fan at the time, but it's cool to be a part of something like that, like in the music world. But that's crazy.
I bought that album when it dropped on Google Play back when they still existed.
You bought that shit?
I digitally bought it, yeah. I wish I had a physical of it, but I did buy it that same. I pre-ordered it and I had it on my phone the same day.
Shit, dude. Now I need to fucking buy that vinyl just for the sake of it. Because I have 2 vinyls. My vinyl player's broken, so I can't even play them.
And my mind was just so... I'm in high school, mind you. My mind was just... when I first heard it, like, what?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, dude. It's fucking amazing.
Hearing that live version of I that he had on the album when he went into that piece talking about how many people they lost. Mm-hmm. This is when I first heard him, mind you. This is my sad when I first heard it. Like, what? Yeah. This is crazy.
That's wild. That's actually how I felt about Damn. I remember when he dropped it, I was actually on the way to Busch Gardens. That's why it was so memorable. And we listened to it the entire drive there because he had dropped it that morning that, we were driving from the other state. So when I finished it for the first time, the first word that came out of my mouth was, damn. And I was like, oh shit, that's why he named it Damn. But I think there's a different reason.
Oh yeah, so I've been re-listening to Damn too.
Yeah.
Damn, from my re-listening.
That's a good ass album.
I haven't all the way came to my realization of what Damn is yet because I'm still trying to reprocess everything and get a better clarification now that I'm older of what Damn symbolizes.
It's a big concept. It's
Yeah.
a big concept. It's about life and death, and then everything in between, which is why, oh God, I love it.
If you want to put a simple cap on it, sure.
Yeah, that's a very simplified way of putting it.
Yeah, because thinking of the "Ain't Nobody Praying for Me,"
Mm.
saying that damn near every other song.
Yeah, there's I mean it's super cohesive. That's why I really love Kendrick Lamar's
Saying
artist.
I'm not black no more. I'm an Israelite. I'm not saying Israelite things. I don't subscribe to Israelite, but I understand I'm not black no more part because it's only a color. But we'll go to that another day. We're also talking about him fearing what he feared.
Through the years.
Yeah.
That man's a genius. That man's a damn genius. I see why he won a Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah, for sure. Because he put out pieces. He put out a piece of art with that album, the Pimp A Butterfly. I was, man,
Fire. I hope that he drops something soon because I'm thirsty for it. I'm thirsty for some new Kendrick Lamar and Frank Ocean. I mean, Frank Ocean, I actually have fell off of being a fan of. Like, I used to be a huge fan of Frank Ocean back when I was in college, but after he stopped dropping stuff and stopped really giving a fuck about essentially being a public figure, I just kind of was like, all right, I guess that's it. And yeah, so, but he makes good music. I'll give him that. Yah off of Damn was inspired by Frank Ocean, actually, and that's something I read when Damn first dropped. It was like in an interview. Kendrick Lamar said that, and then after that, I was like, oh, Frank Ocean's goated.
I don't know if you remember, but I think Kia might have asked you where it came up during another podcast y'all were doing. It's like, hey, what sessions would you want to sit in and just be a part of? So the Pimp A Butterfly sessions are mine.
Oh shit, yeah.
That and the 444 sessions. I would just like to sit in and be a fly on the wall or just a creator in those sessions and just be a part of those experiences.
Bro, Certified Lover Boy's mine. No, I'm just playing. That's a hard one actually. That's got me thinking. From a creative process. Oh shit. Honestly, I would say Blonde. From a creative process, like that is very sonically like interesting. It's not a hip hop album, but Bon Iver or Bon Iver, however the fuck you say his name.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. 22 a Million.
Oh yeah.
Insane album, and that's actually one that I can definitely think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, I've heard that in a while. It's a good project though.
Hell yeah, that opening track when I first heard it, I was blown away. And then because I do partake a little bit in marijuana, I was a little high, but dude, when I heard it, I was like, it's just all the effects. That's a big artistic leap, to make music like that. That's inspiring as a musician. I don't think every musician has to make music like that, but I think musicians need music like that.
Yeah.
Shit that just pushes boundaries, but still sounds good. Yeah.
And going back to the 444 point, not everything has to be mixed crazily good for people to appreciate it. Because when you hear the mixing on 444, it's not the greatest.
And that's crazy because even before I really knew what great mixing was, I did have those thoughts. Like, as a listener, like, damn, this song kind of sounds weird.
Yeah, it's not mixed the greatest, but
like, he recorded that shit in a closet.
Yeah, I even heard them talking about on interviews that they recorded in different studios. They didn't have the best equipment, but the pureness of an album will speak through not such a great recording or a different sounding recording as long as the content holds up and it's tolerable.
Yeah, I mean, I think as we get older, we'll be able to relate to 444 more.
I relate to it a little bit now.
Yeah, fair.
When he talks about taxes, man,
that's fair.
My account's so good, I'm probably living tax free. What?
But I really do feel like that's some shit you will listen to like down the line and be like, damn, he was thinking.
Yeah, going listening to the story of OJ. I'm like, yeah, you said that about OJ, but OJ was right when he said that stuff, though.
Ooh, controversial?
Yeah,
I don't know.
OJ was right. Just saying, OJ was right.
Leave a comment below what you think about that.
Drop it. Listen next week on our thoughts on the comment when you comment. We appreciate you.
Damn, man.
Damn.
We out here late night putting in that work.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What are y'all doing? Sitting at home? Shit. It is what it is.
Anything else you want to speak about, man?
Nah, nothing else on my mind at the moment. I'm at the end of my day. I've said in the previous weeks, you know, it's all after work and shit. So I'm like, I'm real mellowed out. I'm just like, I'm good, man. It's about to be a good sleepy time. Shit.
All right. Had something else I was gonna say, but I couldn't remember. So
it really be like that sometimes.
in that case, shout out to the NBA playoffs. Everything seems like it's getting real interesting. Shout out to that. And we have some more content coming to y'all next week. So be in tune. Hollywood G. Williams C is coming out very, very soon. He will be on the show as well.
Dub.
Stay tuned. Hustler's Ambition video is out now. Go check it out on all your platforms. Also, we are at the end of our show, and we appreciate you watching and listening to us in the morning, noon, night, evening, whenever you're listening and hearing this. We appreciate you. This is the 2.5 LLCs podcast. You can find us on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Podcasts, wherever your podcast is being heard, seen, and listened to, you can find us. And our info will be around your heads or on the screen. And until next time, my name is Dre. This is 2.5 LC's podcast featuring Devin. We are out of here. I remember what I was about to say.
Nah, we're not out of here.
People that says analog's better in the box, it is not. Don't get it twisted. It is not. You can use it for the time being until you can afford analog stuff, but analog is better than in the box. However, though,
that's true.
When you get into a point where you're using it, don't just get analog stuff just to have it. Get it when you know you're going to use it and appreciate it, and you have the space to accommodate for it. Because I was the one that bought analog stuff before I was in a situation where I was using it, because I'm not at home much when I create at times. So it's no use for me to buy analog. However, though, there's one thing about analog you can do. You can sell it and get your money back for it. Digital stuff, you cannot. So just keep that in your mind as when you're making and purchasing things as a engineer, producer, creator in the music land or audio land. Just remember that. But now we're out of here for real. This is the 2.5 LC's podcast. See y'all next time, man. We out of here. Deuces.
Yeah.